and professional level trade dissection and analysis, you have come to the right place. My name is Pat Mitchell. I have been a professional day trader for the past 11 years, and I'm here to do exactly that, give you high-level professional day trading education, all for free right here on YouTube and on X. And tonight, we're going to talk about preparation and what preparation can ultimately lead to. So one sec, let me pull up the charts and we're going to go over and analyze a trade that I took here today. One quick sec. Okay, so now that we're into the charts, we're going to discuss SPY. So preparation always should be starting the night before. A lot of people have a problem with doing scans the night before because they think that it is a waste of time. It is not a waste of time. Whether we gap down or gap up or gap down is irrelevant. We need to start placing levels, especially if you're a technical day trader, which most of you I'm sure are. That's why you're here. And we start preparing. Preparing starts with getting your mind right, wrapped around certain levels that we would be watching. So these levels here, they were not placed prior to this morning's action. They were placed during this morning's action at 9 a.m. Sorry, I kind of fumbled that one. It's been a busy evening. Sorry, folks. Basically, what I'm getting at is most of the time when I'm doing my scans, the levels that I have up in the evening, right around this time. In fact, once I'm done these trade analysis videos, that's when I do my scans for the night. I'll place the levels, and that's usually the trade plans that we go with the following morning. But yesterday, because of how we were looking, we were actually looking like we were potentially going to gap up. And if we did gap up, it would have been a smooth as silk day. But it wasn't. We ended up gapping down. So this morning, and just for a heads up, all of these levels that you see placed here, these are all placed prior to the market open. I don't mess around with my levels afterwards. So these levels are placed right at 9 a.m. every single morning like clockwork. 9 a.m. I start developing trade plans, which is ultimately preparation. And when you're prepared, a lot of people don't understand where this level of consistency comes, especially if you've been watching my channel over and over and over again. These are the trades that we take. It's not just me. There's hundreds of members that are doing the exact same thing. That preparation is key. So 9 a.m., do up the trade plans. We get prepared. We get into the mind frame that if that level tests, we will execute. And if you're not prepared, you're going to be like a deer caught in the headlights and you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know what to do if it wants to come down lower and the whole nine. So preparation's key. So on SPY here, the trade plan was to, if we ended up coming down into this 574.06 level, we would execute the long. And if it came up into the 579.71 level, we would execute short. Now on this here, market opens up and ends up coming down into the 574.06 level to go long. As it comes down, I execute, pops up, pulls back, execute again into confirmation, because what I was seeing on Qs was confirmation at the same time. And we always line up SPY and Qs both before we generally execute any of the trades, and then simply just reap the rewards. And again, just like always, part of preparation is having a proper strategy, not just an entry strategy, but an exit strategy, a risk strategy, and a sizing strategy. A lot of people stop at the entry strategy, and that just simply is not enough to be a professional day trader, folks. This is why it's crucial to learn from someone that's been doing this a long time and has been wildly successful. So on this, because of the level of preparation and all of those things I just mentioned, this was such an easy morning. Locking in $2,665, not a huge amount, but because of the nature of the market and because we were hovering in and around trend and we did not get that gap up, you have to size down. Part of the sizing strategy is knowing what type of day you're trading in. So locking in a beautiful day, probably around 60%, 65% from best entry to best exit, somewhere in that neighborhood. But you're always going to see these bulk payments. It's something that I talk about on repeat in this channel. And for those of you that are paying attention, that are struggling out there, that aren't a part of my service, you should be picking up on that, because that's why you're consistently seeing green on my screens. What I would recommend for any of you that are watching or might be curious, I wonder if I should join. Enough. Just join. You can cancel at any time. It's a month-to-month basis. My clients are very happy, and I know you too. And I know you've been burned a million times before, guys. I get it. I've been there. I was there. I joined one service way back in the day, and I lasted a week. This guy was full of shit. And I immediately knew. And then sure enough, years and years and years later, he came out, and he was one of the original guys. He's been around since 09. And it came out that he was full of shit, just like I figured. So, you know, you got to watch yourself. You got to see when the type of people out there that are consistent, doing the same thing, the same strategy, not bouncing around from crypto to futures to options to stock to this and that. That's bullshit. Don't be following people like that, guys. It's going to get you into trouble. So I read, if you've been spinning your wheels, come to tricktrades.com. And if not, that's okay. You don't have to. I'm not forcing you to. Keep enjoying my free content until you finally decide to pull the trigger, but there's no better time than the present. So on that note, folks, I hope you all enjoyed this video and got something out of it. And I'll see you tomorrow. Or no, yes, I'll see you tomorrow. I thought it was Friday for a second. Jesus, what a day. Have a good evening, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.